Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Harlequin here. How you doing? I'm doing pretty well. Anyhow, we got a bunch of good games lined up for today, but first off, I just wanted to remind everybody that GameReplays.org is having their GROS, the Game Replays Open Season, this Friday, the 25th, and that's going to go on till Sunday. They have a whole, schedule of things that they're going to be doing all weekend, but they're looking for players to sign up. I know they have room for 128. You should definitely stop by. I'll have a link to that form in the description of this video, but otherwise, GameReplays.org/Dawn of War 2 is where to go for that. It's in all the news posts, that sort of thing. So if you're interested, or you've ever considered playing in a tournament or whatever, just go there, check it out, sign up. It should be awesome. They also invited yours truly to be casting the event, so go there as well for information on when and where that's going to be posted. But either way, it should be a fun time to be had by all. So, in preparation for Newbie Tuesday, if you guys didn't get a chance to see the last one, I partnered up with ProjectL2P.com, a website that's set up to help people overcome the learning curves of Dawn of War 2 and get better at this game. In preparation for doing another cast like that with them, I've just been looking through all of the myriad replays you guys have been submitting and just kind of enjoying them all. But there's way too many to ever cast once a week, so I figured I'd just sit down and go through a couple of them here today. I'll organize them all in playlist. And by the way, for those of you who just kind of surf on in and find these videos, check out my channel. I have all of my videos meticulously arranged in playlists just to make it easy for people to kind of find where the next part is and that sort of thing. I honestly believe that any and all replays are useful to some extent as long as you can look through and figure out what made them, what made them over so quickly, or what the person did right or what the person did wrong. And so in that regard, I just want to go through and just look at a couple of viewer submissions today. We're not going to necessarily watch all of every piece of them, but definitely as many as I can fit in here. So with that aside, let's go ahead and get this replay started here. So we're going to take a look at this. This map is, of course, Quest's Heresy, and I'm just going to go ahead and start it here. On the southern side of the map, we have Mr. Ever Silent One playing today as the Hive Tyrant. You can see right off the bat, I'm just going to start criticizing. A little slow on building that unit there. You can see, well, I guess it's not the worst thing ever, but building 2 Hormagaunts. To the north, we have Victory Wank. Toot. Victory Wank. I'm sorry, I have childish sense of humor. Getting a Sentinel first and having Guardsmen coming out right away. So let's take a look here. Already, I'm a little bit concerned about what I see Ever Silent One doing here. So building 3 Hormagaunts right off the bat seems kind of counterable and one-sided. I know. He's spamming lots of little melee guys, which isn't always the worst idea against a bunch of Imperial Guardsmen and that sort of thing. They can be pretty good in melee. But getting 3 of them right away seems like it could be kind of setting you up for being hard countered there. The other big criticism is that it looks like he went out and just kind of gunned right for these victory points here, and kind of ignored obvious things like getting power and stuff like that. Now, victory points are cool, but if you can't hold on to them forever, like, if it's really late game and your opponent has 80 victory points left, anytime you can get an advantage is great. But early game, and we see a nice little blunder here. It looks like the Hormagaunts just kind of walked right past this Inquisitor. Inquisitor now lining up for a Hammer of the Witches. Bam! Killing a model there. And kind of backing away, not even ever once engaging that Inquisitor at all, and then just retreating a little unnecessarily there. So now you can see that grabbing that victory point early game served no purpose. It basically gained him nothing, and as a result, he just retreated away from it. So that was kind of a poor decision there. Again, we have Hormagaunts moving on up towards a victory point, moving directly through all of these units, and also that was kind of a failure here on Toot's part as well by not stomping or doing anything. You can see these Guardsmen are not engaging here. Very low-level play, by the way. One of these players told me that this was their absolute first game out there, so I'm not going to be too critical here. That is a nice War Stomp right there. Not War Stomp, whatever you want to call it. Ground pound. And now the Hormagaunts again are just retreating. So first major criticism here for Ever Silent One, spending way too much time going after victory points and not turning that into anything substantial here. So just going to have to retreat on home. We can see that the Hive Tyrant has been doing a good job of capping these power nodes, but I'm going to pause it here and just take a look around. We can see that there are no power upgrades whatsoever yet, despite having 3 power nodes. Not the worst thing ever, but you can see that already Victory Wank has taken care of that. I'm going to stop laughing at that. Looks like our Sentinel is moving up here and capping around. And again, I'm still worried that the Hormagaunts are going to be a little bit outclassed here. Now, this is a fight that he can definitely stand to have. You can see that the Imperial Guard are trying to cap this victory point and just getting knocked asunder by the Hive Tyrant, who is getting the extended Carapace, which gives him the charge ability. I like that upgrade too, so that's perfectly fine. Doing quite a bit of damage to these Guardsmen. The Guardsmen in this situation really should just be retreating on out of there because it's very likely that he'll come after them. Looks like he got some distance though while that sync kill was going off. Clicking around the Hormagaunts, you'll also notice that none of them have been upgraded to have Oh, I'm going to pause this right here. None of them have been upgraded to have any of the adrenal gland upgrades, which is really, if you're going to get a lot of Hormagaunts, you want to have them adrenaled up early game. So let's take a look at this situation right here and see what's going on. Again, I suspect that Ever Silent One is just kind of blindly clicking on victory points that he wants to get and then not really looking at the outcome. So here we can see we've got, it looks like a multi-laser turret has already been built in the center here by Toot. Toot also has, looks like he's building a heavy weapon squad also, but he's got his guardsmen out here and he's got a sentinel right in the front. That's pretty much the perfect situation to guard yourself against a Tyranid swarm. The sentinel can tank a little bit and do a ground pound, and all these guys have huge distance and they can cap all that. So what's going to happen here? Well, first off, these Hormagaunts need to engage something or get out. Honestly, they all need to retreat. This is a death sentence here, but let's see what happens here. Hormagaunts moving in the center. They start capping. They honestly just went right in to cap that. Got war stomped, annihilated, just totally annihilated by focus fire there. Meanwhile, the second squad of Hormagaunts just sitting down here capping the point. So really, you know, I feel almost unfair making these criticisms, but these are total newbie replays, and this is exactly what I asked you guys to send in your first couple of games. So big mistakes there, obviously, trying to cap victory points blindly. Now what else was going on that was maybe occupying their attention? Maybe they were microing around up here. Maybe they were looking at what to build in their base or trying to figure out what certain things cost or looking at their abilities. Who knows exactly, but always, always, always keep track of where you're sending your units out there. Pretty much the prime mistake that you can make in any game is losing a squad. An entire squad dying is the worst thing ever. Pretty much there's a humongous correlation, especially at high-level games, between the player who loses the first squad and the player who eventually goes on to lose the game. Huge, huge correlation between that. I couldn't quote you any numbers here, but just from having watched a couple of replays. Let's take a look and see what else is going on here right now. So again, I'm kind of pausing these because these things jump out at me, but definitely do not think that you can just sit there and cap victory points while all that's going on around you. We do have our Hive Tyrant up here now with the extended carapace, and notice, by the way, just kind of naturally I'm focusing on Ever Silent One here because I think Toot is making plenty of mistakes as well, but definitely Ever Silent One is the slowest gazelle in this situation. And here comes the Hive Tyrant charging in. Oh, this is not good either. You can see taking just a hell of a lot of damage here. Multi-laser turret, heavy weapon squad, and being shot at by the Sentinel and being war stomped there. Again, I think that's just a matter of being situationally aware. It wasn't like the Sentinel was too much. There was just all these other details here that he probably didn't notice, that he was just coming into an entire army as a result of that. Meanwhile, over here on the right-hand side of the map, the Inquisitor has just been doing whatever she wants with this victory point, and I think these Hormagaunts have just never once even tried to engage her. Again, you can see that they're just going for a different victory point. She's getting kills off. She's probably been using Hammer of the Witches on them and all that sort of thing, and they've never once tried to engage her. If they had adrenal upgrades, they could definitely be pigpiling on that Inquisitor at this point in the game. But so she's been able to hold on to that right-hand victory point. Let's take a look on the left-hand side now. Oh, by the way, we've got some Warrior Broods coming out. Now, this is looking pretty good here. These Guardsmen are just getting wrecked. This is exactly what we... No! Hormagaunts, what are you doing? Hormagaunts, again, accidentally just avoiding conflict there. I think for some reason he's just using these to go around and just cap victory points. Really, he should be using them to attack the enemy. Situations like that could have pigpiled right on top of that entire squad. Remember, even retreating squads take a lot of extra damage from melee, so you want to try and use that whenever you can. Which is especially why the adrenal upgrade for the Hormagaunts is so good, because they kind of sprint after people and do a lot of damage here. So again, Hive Tyrant is just kind of outgunned in the center. Strong central control here with all of these multi-laser turrets, heavy weapon squads. What Ever Silent One really needs to do in this case is just kind of harass around. I like the initiative up here. Looks like the Hormagaunts are going to be trying to do some gen bashing here, perhaps to take out this power generator. Looking pretty good. But again, I think he'd be better suited by piling on top of these guardsmen rather than just sitting here and taking casualties trying to get a single generator down. And as you can see, that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to take out one generator, which is worth like $100. And meanwhile, these guardsmen are almost done upgrading their flamer. Double flamers coming out right now. This is horrible! Oh no! What a massacre! So unfortunately, and just to add insult to injury, rebuilding the power generator right in front of them. and it looks like the whole squad, does not get out of there. So once again, Hormigaunt Brood, by the way, he built a fifth Hormigaunt Brood, whatever the hell it is. And again, I'm not laughing at Ever Silent One here per se, because I really appreciate the fact that people are sending in these kind of replays here. But it's important to note that the priorities are just a little bit off in terms of what to go for. Obviously, killing that generator did nothing. It barely set back his opponent at all. Whereas if we look around, Ever Silent One has got no upgrades right now on any of his power nodes. So he's really far behind in terms of technology. If you look at right now, he's got 50 power. Meanwhile, Victory Wank is at 60 power or something like that, but he's got all of these upgrades. Looking way out here on the right-hand side, we can see once again the Hormigaunts are just dead set on capping these victory points, not even engaging the Inquisitor at all. Inquisitor right now getting some special attacks. She's basically just firing away here at the Hive Tyrant, completely ignoring this. Now the Hive Tyrant, even in pursuing the Inquisitor here, has bumped away all of these Hormigaunts, and they even stopped capping this victory point right now. I'm sure he's just focused in on whatever's happening up there. So really just kind of a little bit of mismanagement here. Again, the Warriors gunning for these victory points, just trying their best to cap that victory point, but it's just not going to happen here. And really just having lost all of these units so far, I really think that this game is totally over at this point. You can see just totally suppressed, going to have to retreat on out of there. Doing a good job. I mean, honestly, the Warriors are good and all that, but I'm gonna stop this here just for now, because I think you guys can see what the problem is that Toot, aka Victory Wank Toot, really hasn't sealed the deal with this. He's definitely killed a lot of units, and the one thing that they're doing really well is that just kind of sticking it out there. You know, every time they kill a unit, just making sure they recap all their territories and stuff. Obviously, they're kind of missing some of this stuff here, but you know. The real problem here is that Ever Silent One is just kind of avoiding conflict, just kind of blindly going to cap victory points and stuff like that, kind of moving around like an AI. So I think Ever Silent One needs to work on grouping their units better, i.e. using Control 1, Control 2, Control 3 to kind of put different units in control groups. That way you can quickly like spam out 1, 2, 3 and jump around the map and kind of keep track of where people are. And also, don't just blindly send your units into the center of the map to cap a point that you haven't scouted at all, because it could be surrounded with turrets and guardsmen and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here, but thank you very much to Ever Silent One for sending this replay on in, and let's move on to the next game.